This video is Parallel Lines, video number 2, and it's about solving problems involving parallel lines cut by transversal. Note, let's label our pictures, label all the acute angles and the obtuse angles. And remember, the acute angles labeled in blue, each acute angle is equal to every acute angle. And then O equals O means every obtuse angle is congruent to every obtuse angle. And then if you have one acute angle and one obtuse angle, they're supplementary, meaning they add up to 180. Let's see if we can use these facts to help us out. Look at example 1. If the measure of angle 1 is 105 degrees, let's put 105 right here. And this is what is the measure of angle 7. Well, if I label this as a O, 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 that's a O. And if we look at the even numbers, they're all acute. And if we remember what we just said, the obtuse angles are equal to one another. So if angle 1 is 105, that means angle 7 is also 105. Measure of angle 7 is also 105. Let's look at example 2. Once again, angle 1 is labeled our figure with O's for obtuse angles and A's for acute angles. We recognize that 1, which is 105 degrees, and we're looking for a measure of angle 8. Let's call this question mark down here. We recognize that 1 is an obtuse angle and 8 is an acute angle. They happen to be consecutive exterior and they're supplementary, which means we'll take 180 minus 105. So our answer is 75 degrees. So the measure of angle 8 is equal to 75 degrees. And remember, the acute plus the obtuse add up to 180. So you try now. You could pause the video and see if you can answer the following questions. Now that you've paused it, now that you've had a chance to answer your questions, let's see how you did. Again, let's start by labeling our picture. 1, angle 3, angle 5, and angle 7. If you notice the pattern, those are all acute angles. 2, 4, angle 6, and angle 8 are all obtuse angles. Now, let's look at what's given. This is angle 6 is 120. So that means this angle right here is 120 degrees. So let's look at all our obtuse angles, because we know now that all of our obtuse angles would have to be 120 degrees. That means angle 2 is 120 degrees. And angle 8 as well is 120 degrees. Angle 3 is an acute angle as well as angle 5. But again, our acute plus our obtuse equals 180 degrees. That will make the measure of angle 3 60 degrees, and the measurement angle 5 is also 60 degrees. Once again, every obtuse angle is equal to every obtuse angle in this picture. Every acute angle is equal to every acute angle. And the acute plus the obtuse must add up to 180 because they're supplementary. Let's see if we can use that fact to help us out with example 3. We can see that we have an acute angle where the 2x plus 8 is, and another acute angle where the 6x minus 12, which means since they're both acute, they're equal or congruent. So let's write an equation. 2x plus 8 is equal to 6x minus 12. Well, let's go ahead and solve this. Subtract our 6x from both sides. You're going to subtract our 8 from both sides now. That leaves us negative 4x is equal to negative 20. Our last step, we will divide by negative 4, and which leaves us our x value is equal to 5. And if we wanted to check it, all we had to do is substitute our 5 in for both x's, and we would recognize that our angles are indeed congruent. For our fourth and final example, this time we have to find the value. Not only do we have to find the value of x, we have to find the measurement of angle 1, which will require one additional step. Again, let's label our picture. We have an acute angle here, and we have an obtuse angle down there, which means, by name they're consecutive interior, but once again we see an acute angle and an obtuse angle. They are supplementary, which means they must add up to 180. So let's go ahead and write our equation. 4x plus 15 plus 6x minus 5 equals 180. Let's go ahead and combine our like terms. Leaving us our next step. 10x plus 10 equal to 180 when we combine our like terms. Subtract 10 from both sides. That leaves us 10x is equal to 170, which leaves x is equal to 17. Well, we're finished with the first part of our answer. This is the value of x. However, we wanted the measure of angle 1. And we see the measure of angle 1 is also an acute angle, which means the measure of angle 1 would be the same as 4x plus 15, but we now know what x is, so let's substitute our x value in, which means we get 4 times, we have an x value of 17, so we can put 17 in, so 4 times 17 plus 15, and excuse me for running out of room, but when we multiply that out, we'll put 4 times 17 so that plus 15, and we'll see that that's 83 once we put that in our calculator. So the measure of angle 1 is 83 degrees. So again, we have our two answers. The value of x is 17. The measure of angle 1 is 83 degrees. Once again, let's remember our rules. Label our picture with acute angles and obtuse angles. And we'll see that our A equals A, meaning acute equals acute. Our O equals O, meaning obtuse angles equal to obtuse angles. And we see our relationship when we have one acute and one obtuse, that they're supplemented to add up to 180. This concludes our parallel lines number 2 video.